I'm doing something a little different in this video and combining two big ideas. First, I want to give a real perspective on the level of effort some renovation jobs take and some of the thinking that went into the start of this project. Second, I also want to talk about what size of jackhammer to rent for your home projects and the differences between breaking and cutting concrete. I'm digging up the original copper and cast iron drains because I wanted to change the rough-in layout. There's a drain in the middle of the floor where I wanted to put the new bathroom, and with all of the rest of the plumbing planned to be changed or moved, getting this out of here made the most sense. This dig took me 6 hours. I started in a spot where I was relatively sure there shouldn't be any plumbing so that I could get an idea of how the jackhammer worked, how aggressively it goes after breaking through the slab, and how big and small of chunks I can take with it. I didn't want a full send over where pipes were because I still needed them to work for the night. This day was just about digging, not replacing the pipes. For the basement dig, I rented the Hilti TE-3000 because I had never used a jackhammer before, didn't have much experience breaking up concrete, and didn't want to be in a position where the tool was underpowered. So I got the biggest one possible. It weighed nearly 70 pounds and was ridiculously overkill. On this much more recent job, breaking up the slab in my back alley, I used the TE-2000, which was half the weight. It was much easier to use and still had the power needed. This back slab was frozen and had rebar, so it was a much more difficult job. I very strongly recommend the TE-2000 over the 3000 for just about any home-sized job. Breaking concrete isn't cutting and it's not grinding, so it doesn't produce anywhere near as much dust. For the basement job, I also rented the vacuum for the TE-3000 because Santa got defective lungs from the manufacturer and can't really do anything once they decide to stop working. I started with a mask on but took it off after about 5 minutes. There just wasn't really any mess in the air. Santa kept his on for about half an hour. I don't have any shots showing how much dust the vacuum actually caught, but I do remember it being a shockingly small amount. I don't blame the vacuum or the attachment, it's just a factor of the concrete being broken instead of cut. When I was cutting other parts of the slab later, I did have to use water or the air was toxic in a matter of seconds. So speaking of cutting, why didn't I cut this instead? There are a bunch of reasons. First, I didn't want to deal with that much dust and especially gas fumes. Anything you can rent to cut concrete here runs on gas, not electricity, and I didn't own my water modified electric saw at the time. Second, I had an idea where the pipes were, but I didn't know exactly, and I definitely didn't know how deep they were. Some of them ended up basically being right below the slab, so cutting the slab would have meant cutting the pipes too. Third, breaking is a lot faster. Fourth and last, I really didn't need to care about the quality of the edges of the break. Looking at all of these factors, cleanliness, speed, air quality, unknown pipe locations, the decision to use a jackhammer is almost a no-brainer. In the future, especially for a job this size, I'll be using the 2000 instead of the 3000. And that mostly comes down to because it's freaking heavy. It weighs about 70 pounds, which is fun if you're doing swing curls in the squat rack, but a lot less fun when you have to do several hundred 6 to 10 inch lifts with a tool that really likes to get stuck in the mud underneath the slab. You may have noticed that the jackhammer work ended a little while ago, because here's where we get to the bulk of the work for a job like this. Breaking the concrete is actually relatively easy work. Fully excavating the pipes so you can remove and replace them the next day, that's a lot harder. As I said before, this dig took me about 6 hours, with probably 4 of those hours being digging by hand. If you're going to take on a job like this, you'll want a few different widths and shapes of shovels, maybe a harpoon, and lots of buckets. I moved all the material to a couple of piles off screen, one for concrete and one for dirt. I wanted to refill with the same dirt after and not have to separate out concrete later. You'll probably see plumbers on YouTube backfilling with road crush, or worse yet, river rock. They do this so they can charge for the disposal of the material, charge for the backfill of the material, and get markups on everything. So if you're going to do this, save yourself a pile of cash and effort, and just keep what you dig up. We end this video off with a little bit of cleaning and contemplating my life choices. Hey look, I'm finally making an outro. I hope you liked whatever video that was. If you have questions about it, or really anything else at all, like actually anything, DIY, photography, weightlifting, Assassin's Creed, live streaming, you name it, I have a new dedicated questions channel on my Discord, link below. I'll be putting all the answers at the end of upcoming videos, and I'll tag you on the Discord when those answers are posted. The next video should be about something and will get posted when it's finished. So if you do the YouTube things, YouTube will do the you things.